Hi, and welcome to the Australian Gamer Show. I'm Matt.
And I'm Yug.
Tonight, a 2009 retrospective.
Christmas in games.
AVP Reclassified.
And that's it.
And that's it.
But hey, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas to you, Yug.
Merry Christmas to you too, Matt.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Is this going to be a lovely podcast?
Let's do a nice podcast.
Yeah, we can be nice to each other.
Just one day, surely we can do it.
And one day of the... It's Christmas.
This
is the
Christmas.
time for giving.
Of all times,
and
we can be nice.
You know what I think shows how giving we actually are? Is I actually gave Matt his Christmas present. And, you know, I put a lot of thought and effort into it and really thought about what Matt would really, really want for Christmas.
Okay, I'd like to set the scene here by saying that I also gave Yug a gift. My girlfriend and I put in together because we didn't have a lot of money, and we put in together and we got a gift for Yug as well.
Yep.
So there's been giving and there's been love and sharing. Now,
thought.
I also wanted to state that Talia and I got Yug a really cool zombie book.
Awesome, really like a diary of...
It's a guy's journal from when he was in the zombie apocalypse, and he's sketched the zombies, and there's some fucking grotesque drawings in there, which I'm a big fan of.
It's awesome. I'm looking forward to reading it. It's good.
And so that's pretty cool. And we also got him the latest Ministry of Sound annual album, which
really appropriate, really, really well thought out gifts.
Yug got me a poster of Edward from Twilight. So that's awesome. That is awesome. And our friend Praz also got us Twilight magnets.
Yeah.
Fridge magnets.
There's a distinct Twilight theme which is
great.
kind of funny because you both hate Twilight.
Yeah, it's embarrassing a little bit that you guys didn't realise that.
No, me and Praz didn't even think, plan this or anything like that. We both just thought, Matt and Talia, Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Well, I know Talia likes Harry Potter, and Twilight's pretty much the same thing.
Hey, I think we should jump into actual topics.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think we've got a lot to talk about because we
really do.
Want to give
we've got a whole year,
to talk about. Actually, before we talk about the year, let's actually just get these other more specific topics out of the way. Was it?
But
nice.
Nice.
Look, talk to each other really nicely and friendly.
Yeah. It's a bit professional.
So AVP, Alien vs Predator, has been reclassified. We're a little bit late on the news on this, but we didn't realise it by the time we record our last podcast.
Yeah, I think it was last Friday. It was announced. It was on Thursday. Basically resubmitted for reclassification by Sega. With no changes at all, which as far as I've heard is pretty much the equivalent of going, oh, come on!
Not only no changes, but the developer was adamantly like, well, that's fucked, we're not changing anything because that changes the whole game. So the fact that they reclassified, I actually read into the statements of why they actually let it through this time. There was a lot of stuff that said, well, the violence is spread out and it's interspersed with sequences that aren't violent, and it's also very fantasy violence as well. So
yeah, I heard the fantasy themes were a big factor.
Yeah. So yeah, what are we doing? We have technical glitches.
We almost had a minor technical difficulty because my laptop, which is currently recording this thing, the power cable comes loose, and if it does, it runs out of battery in about 10 minutes.
Okay, let's make sure. Oh, that'll be a short podcast.
Yeah, that would have probably pleased a lot of people, but it was actually just on the verge of going to low power mode.
Okay.
So
right, we don't want that.
We've had a rescue.
Indeed. So anyway, Alien vs Predator reclassified. Fantastic news. It comes out in February next year in Australia, I believe.
I'm going to dispute you in a friendly way.
Okay, of course, yes.
And say, no, that's fucked.
Right. That it's coming out in February?
Yep. This is not an MA-rated game. This is not a 15-year-old's game. This is an adult game. This should not be MA. This should be R. Making it an MA game is not.
I'm starting to hear a lot more of this lately because there are more high-profile games that are actually, coming through as an M-rated, MA-rated things, and people are starting to realise that, well, no, you can't just take out a little bit of the blood and it makes the game okay. It's the content of a game.
It's the theme. It's the overall theme of extreme violence that this game is based on that makes it an R-rated game.
Exactly.
That makes it an adult game. It's not because one guy gets, dismembered at one point. It's an overall tone of blood, gore, and violence that, to be honest, isn't my thing, but that's not really the point. People should be able to make their own choices.
Yep.
Adults should be able to make their own choices, and this is an adult game.
Yep.
Toning it down is only part of the problem. And I'm not actually blaming Sega for this. by any means. They've done their job. Their job is to promote and publish this game.
Yep.
That's what they're going to do, and they good on them for getting it through.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, this slipped through the keeper. This is not a...
No.
This is not a... By the way, that was a sports metaphor.
What, slipped by the keeper?
Yeah.
I'm impressed you knew that.
I know.
Do you ever watch sports?
I used to watch cricket. I used to play cricket, you know. I used to play... Not
what?
Not real cricket. I used to play indoor cricket.
What do you mean not real cricket?
I used to play indoor cricket.
What, fake cricket? Pretend cricket?
Oh my god, indoor cricket.
I get it, but that's still cricket.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. It was actually a pretty good thing to do.
I used to play indoor cricket. I played indoor cricket twice when I was at high school, and then I didn't enjoy the physical activity so much I switched over to bowling as my as my sport choice of a Wednesday afternoon.
Nice. Bowling is the sport, really?
Yeah, you could. So it was like either cricket or soccer or tennis or bowling.
Was it just you and the fat kids?
No. It was me and the nerds, basically.
Really? Right.
But it was great because bowling, it's not constantly strenuous. You have to wait your turn.
You're sitting down.
And then the rest of the time when you're not playing, you just go to the little arcade that they had in there. And we just played
Wow.
games. It was awesome.
That's the best.
Bowling was just the sport, in inverted commas, for people that didn't want to play sport.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That's pretty much what it is now.
Actually, yeah, good point.
Yeah, Alien vs Predator. Is there anything much more to say on that?
Not really. The only other thing that I noticed was SBS ran a bit of an R rating thing on TV.
Yeah, this whole R rating thing is starting to get a bit of traction. It's actually starting to get some promotion and publicity outside of people like us and various forums.
In mass media, which is where it really needs to actually be.
Places like even Sunrise and SBS have been covering it.
What did Koshi think of the R18 rating?
I didn't actually watch the Sunrise one.
Okay.
But from what I've heard, it was all things considered, considering the kind of fairly conservative basis of the Sunrise program. It was actually pretty reasonable and pretty moderate.
Okay.
Thing. And
but you watched the SBS one. Though.
I watched the SBS one, and that was quite moderate as well. It bugged me a bit because they had a guy from some family group,
of course,
essentially saying that if these games are allowed, then children are more likely to get them, which is kind of, you could say the same about anything. I mean, yes, if things are legal, or if things exist,
people get them.
More people get them. Like, this is a given, but it's still not an argument as far as I'm concerned.
No, I can understand that.
And I know I've said this before, but I just can't get over the thought that family values and family groups is a euphemism for religious groups. I will not let that point go, and I will not allow it to pass. I'm a family man. I'm a father, but this is not a parenting issue. This is a civil liberties issue. This is a personal issue, not a family one.
It all depends.
If you can't manage your own fucking family, get out of mine.
No, fair enough. Hey, by the way, I got an email from the Australian Sex Party saying they fully support and endorse the R18 rating.
This does not surprise me. The Australian Sex Party is largely based on a reasonable degree of civil liberties. I think we can probably agree they are of the libertarian bent.
Yes, I think so.
And when I say bent...
but bent the right way.
Yes.
Yes.
The right way.
So, yeah, look, that's...
I wanted to say one more thing
okay.
about... Because I've heard people say that games shouldn't be classified any harder than movies and so on, because they contain this... the levels of violence may well be the
interactive
same.
Sort of thing.
And there's this whole belief that being interactive makes them worse, which is totally unsupported by anything. But one thing I did want to point out, if you see a movie in which someone... Like, people say, oh, well, sure, people get gutted in Alien vs. Predator, whatever, but they do in, say, Saw as well.
Yep.
But only once. And that's a big difference, I think, that people forget about between games and movies, is that often when something's bad in a game, you can repeat it at will.
Yeah.
And that isn't the case for movies. I mean,
sure it
is.
You can pause it and go back and replay it.
But
over
while
and
I
over
don't
again.
think
Put it on a loop.
interactivity is a factor, I do think that ability to do it at will may be a factor.
Which was one of the things that actually came up. The graphic in the Alien vs. Predator classification was that the graphic violence was actually... there was sections of non-graphic violence that actually separated or
I remember
distinguished throughout it.
I remember when Dark Sector was refused classification, I believe because it was fucking shit. A big part of that was that you could actually do the like dismemberments and stuff could be done at will. So I think that's something people need to remember. But anyway, moving on.
Anyway, I think that's probably enough about R18 rating for this year, I'd like to say, actually. Let's
I think so.
Let's put a lid on that
Unless
topic.
something magnificent happens
in the next week. Yeah. So the other topic we had is Christmas in games. We'll just touch on this one briefly. It's the holiday period, so we were thinking about like what games actually have Christmas elements in them, and of course you've got like
yeah, that's what Guy was talking about. I was kind of talking about.
Who is this guy?
Yug was talking about.
Jesus,
I'm
was
sorry,
born
I'm being friendly
on Christmas Day.
Yes. Yeah, well, there's games like World of Warcraft and stuff that every year they update to like a Christmas theme, and have Christmas events and stuff like that. And I suspect that quite a few of the other MMOs are doing more or less the same thing.
I just thought, because I was trying to think, are there actual games out there that are based on a Christmas setting or a Christmas environment, or actually, are based in Christmas? And I can't think of any.
So I think you'll probably find that it just doesn't suit games unless there's a game.
Okay, there's plenty of games that don't suit the themes, locations, or environments they're created, but they're out there. I refuse to believe there has not been any significant games that are based on Christmas.
It just is too specific. Like, there'd be Christmas games, surely, like kids' Christmas games and stuff.
Isn't there like a game where you can ruin Christmas or something, or you've got to save Christmas?
Night before Christmas kind of game.
Not licensed titles either, because that's too easy,
But why would you have... Like, what are you going to do? You're going to have a Medal of Honor style World War II game, and suddenly it's Christmas, and Santa's coming down, and you have to machine gun him down with anti-aircraft fire.
Although that would be
fucking cool.
I'm more talking about, like, what if you use the Medal of War engine and create a game where you play as Santa and you go fly around and... I mean, what about, like, realistic flight mechanics in a sleigh with reindeer or something? I don't know.
What exactly are the realistic flight mechanics of a reindeer? But apart from a top speed of like 840,000 kilometers an hour required
you'd have
to get
nitro
around
on that shit, man.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Really good nitro.
Actually, the only game that I can actually think of is from ages and ages ago. Do you remember a game called Jazz Jackrabbit on the PC platformer, side-scrolling platformer? I remember they released a specific Christmas version of that, where everything in the game was very Christmassy, and the levels you played was snowing.
Really?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
There you go. There we go. There's Christmas in games. If anyone can actually think of any, and decent, I don't want any crappy, dodgy, shareware, PC, family, downloadable, casual games.
Except Jazz Jackrabbit, apparently.
Hey, that's a cool game, man. That was side-scrolling platformer. That was Mario for the PC.
Sure.
And that went places.
Yeah, I know. It's nearly as well known as Mario now. We were also going to talk about games that kind of theme themselves for Christmas. That's not uncommon as well. Like, as we said before, World of Warcraft does it.
Well, pretty much every MMO, I think, does
MMOs
stuff.
can do that kind of stuff pretty easily. But Yahtzee was talking earlier about, I think it was Rise of the Triad. Apparently, if you played that on Christmas Day, you would get... Everyone would have, like, Santa hats and stuff.
Oh, really?
That's
cool.
Playing Doodle Jump, that's updated itself to a snow theme now. So your little dude has a...
Nice.
Has a snow hat.
Cool.
And... all the monsters are now reindeer and stuff.
Of course they are.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of fun. That sort of stuff is fun.
That's kind of fun. But look, I'll throw it out there to you guys. I mean, it's Christmas. Do you know of any actual Christmas games?
Or any games that update themselves with Christmassy themes or have,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in gaming it seems to be kind of an afterthought. Like, we expect to get games or give games for Christmas quite often. I will be giving... Well, my son, I don't know if I told you this. I put this on the forum, but my son was actually had his Nintendo DS confiscated. He no longer has a Nintendo DS.
Ooh, what did he do?
Well, he started playing it.
How dare he?
At like 1 a.m, and he got up and got his DS out and was playing it in his room when he was supposed to be asleep.
What? Do you never get up at 1 a.m. in the morning and play your DS?
Yeah, but I'm not 10, so. So he got in trouble and he had his DS confiscated from him, which I think is fair enough. And I think, fair play to him. He didn't get away with it, but it's worth a go. So I've decided to be a jerk and get him a DS game for Christmas.
Oh, you bastard.
No, I'm not. I'm going to give it to him for his birthday, which is at the end of...
How long is his DS suspended for?
Just before his birthday.
When's his birthday?
The end of January, so...
That's ages, man.
Yeah, but...
You're taking the DS off him for a whole fucking month just because he played it.
No, okay, it wasn't me, it was his mother.
Oh, okay.
and B, good. This is what discipline is for. Discipline, when you know.
Discipline, schmiscipline.
And it was actually a couple of months ago, so he's actually had it taken away for like 3 months.
The poor kid.
I know.
That punishment does not fit the crime. This is bullshit.
What are you going to go to the UN or something here?
I'm gonna give him my DS. That's what I'll do.
New topic.
Did
you hear about the woman in the US who called 911 because she couldn't stop her son playing Grand Theft Auto 4?
I did.
Oh my fucking god! Seriously.
Yeah, I know. There's not even much to talk about this. You've just basically said everything in that title. Right there
was something that's interesting in the article though, which was not mentioned, which was that she didn't just call the local police. She called 911. That's illegal, and she should be and hopefully will be charged with that.
Did she say that I can't get my son to stop playing video games? Or did she say that my son's driving on the sidewalks and killing people and
because that would seem more
sleeping with hookers? Yeah, exactly. Sleeping with hookers, that's not legal. But as in, like, my son's driving around and killing people, then they might respond to that.
Yeah, that's a 911.
Yeah, that's
but apparently they came to him and like they talked to him on the phone and they convinced him to stop playing. Isn't that just such an incredible admission of your own uselessness?
More importantly, you don't need to call 911 to do that. I've done that a couple of times, as in, like, called up some... Maybe I shouldn't go here.
I'm worried about where you're going.
No, it was just there was...
It's got awkward.
Sorry. Long story short, now there was a kid that was doing some wrong stuff, friend of a friend, and I called up, impersonated the police.
Right. You called and said you were officer, blah, blah, and you shouldn't do that, rah.
Yeah.
And scared him. Yeah, fair enough.
Scared the shit out of him, actually.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, which was great. But still, you shouldn't take your DS off your kid for 3 months.
Whatever.
I disagree with that. Anyway, we have half the podcast left to give a 2009 retrospective.
I feel like we need to put an echo on that.
Retrospective,
in post.
active. Yeah. Let's get ready to rumble. Anyway, 2009.
What a year.
What a year.
Are
we fucking commentators now?
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel like we should be kind of really hyping up this year.
2009, I gotta say, was a disappointment.
Really?
I think 2009 was a disappointing year all round. A lot of the biggest titles that we were looking for, or I was looking forward to this year, slipped and got pushed back.
Uh-huh.
Almost every game publisher and developer dropped staff, and studios closed down. It was just and this is coming off like the 2008, biggest sales record of games ever sort of thing.
Yep.
And then, every month this year, basically just reports of, EA drops 11% of all its staff, then THQ 25%, 24%, Sega kills all the stuff, and Ensemble Studios from Microsoft...
Sega kills all their stuff?
Killed... You know what I mean? I was generalising.
No, but I think maybe use a little less extreme language for future...
all these top-tier developers actually getting shut down by their publishers.
2K disembowels their stuff.
A lot of them before their games were even released.
Yeah, there's been... The financial crisis has hit really hard. The industry always felt itself to be immune to the financial crisis, but it's kind of been proven that no one's immune to this thing. It's been kind of...
A lot of people look at it in different ways. I think a lot of people I've talked to have actually said that the gaming industry had gotten bloated anyway. That game development and the titles that publishers were bringing out weren't bringing in the rewards, and that game developers were just getting sloppy with their titles being too big, too over the top, and just not really having enough substance.
Yeah, so there may be, to a degree, a consolidation of the industry in general, in sort of trimming some dead wood, which is unfortunate. No offense intended to many of the people who have been fired by this, which we know quite a few. There's one with us here today, actually. But I think a lot of companies have just been decimated by the financial crisis, but quite a lot have also taken the opportunity to get rid of some staff, reduce their payrolls, and so on.
The real question is, out of all this horrible, terrible firings and layoffs and all this kind of thing, will publishers actually turn around and see that they need to create games with more substance, or will they just fall back onto their guaranteed franchise titles and keep churning out what they feel works?
I think short term, the second one. Long term, the first one.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Just to expand on that a bit so it makes sense. You'll have to forgive me, I'm eating a Whittaker's peanut slab right now.
That's all right. I ate a summer roll, so you're all good.
Yeah, I think that in the short term they're going to be very careful and they're going to stick to the franchises that make them the big bucks.
Yep.
But I think in the coming probably 2 years they're going to start to invest a bit more in new IPs and so on. We talked last week about
sequels.
The sequels that are coming out, and as we said then, that's an awful lot of sequels to what this year were new IPs. And this is in a really difficult year.
Yep. So it's good.
There's some space in the industry for new titles.
Other stuff that happened this year, of course, E3 was a big hitter with Microsoft and Sony especially, and Nintendo to a lesser extent. The focus was on motion control stuff with Microsoft announcing Project Natal on the Xbox 360, requiring no controllers whatsoever and using a camera, heat sensing, infrared, and also motion control capture camera to actually detect the movement of players. PlayStation showcasing a motion control thing which isn't named yet, which features like almost a Wii controller but with a tip.
It's basically a better Wii controller, let's be honest. It actually seems to really do.
It actually is one to one, and it was very impressive.
Definitely one to watch.
And Nintendo announced, because they already have a motion controller, they announced the Wii Motion Plus,
which is going to make that better, and has come out now.
And has come out along with
the only one of those three, of course, that's currently available. So
Wii Motion Plus.
Yeah. Now I think it's kind of an underwhelming technology all in all, but I give them points for actually having something you can buy.
That is true, and. Let's be honest, I mean, Wii stuff tends to top all the fucking sales charts. Let's not forget that Wii Fit, I think, came out in January this year, or
we think it was either really late last year or early this year. So we're actually in a hotel room at the moment on the Gold Coast, and we don't really have access to the research tools that we normally... Because it may seem hard to believe, but we do often check some shit before we say it.
Occasionally, sometimes.
Usually the stuff that we think we're going to say we check, and then the stuff that we later on make up as we go along, we don't check.
And other people call us for it on the forums, which is how this podcast works. I should actually say as well that we're in a room doing a podcast while all the other people that we're here with, including like Praz and Yahtzee and some other people as well, they're all in the next room.
My girlfriend as well.
And your girlfriend. They're actually playing tabletop games.
They are, in fact, playing a Cthulhu-based tabletop role-playing game.
Right. Why aren't we playing that, Matt?
Because we have balls.
And there you have it. You know what sucks? The three other people that I'm opening a bar with, a fucking bar.
Like a man bar.
Yeah. Are all massive tabletop gamers, and they use the venue at least once or twice a week to play tabletop gaming at the moment.
I know. I went past the other day, and because you can peer under the little
comic things,
the little comic things that are up on the wall, and I saw a meeting happening down there, and I'm like, oh, the guys are having a meeting, and then I saw someone roll a dice onto the meeting, and I'm like, oh, you losers! I
have no part in that whatsoever. It just tabletop gamers, you are well represented at the Manor Bar.
Yes,
but not welcome by me.
Yeah,
so.
Don't come up and say, hey, Yug, when can we get us some...
D20 action.
Well, actually...
D10? I don't know.
I don't know. You know, the stuff that these guys do doesn't seem to involve... It's not Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff. It's board games, but it's like super advanced board games for people who are smarter than people like us. Maybe that's the problem.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, you're pretty smart, man.
Yeah, but not this kind of smart. They're good at numbers and strategy and shit, and I just know words what are big.
Anyway, 2009, continuing on, one of the other things that came out of E3, just very briefly, was the OnLive service, which is the console that sits on your TV box that actually streams the games directly to your TV, so you actually don't need any thing. You just need a high bandwidth solution.
Now, when Yug says it came out of E3, it was announced at E3, which I believe means the vaporware started at E3.
Right.
I'll be interested to see whether anything comes from this.
Indeed. So moving along, obviously, Wii Motion Plus.
Sorry, since we're talking about hardware, one thing that's really interesting to look at over this past year is the complete lack of hardware that's come out. Because the companies have already released their main consoles. Like there wasn't a new, PlayStation 4. There wasn't a new Xbox 360. There wasn't very much on the hardware there, but both of the portables got an update this year.
They did, the DSi and the PSP Go. I would actually like to say that there was an abundance of peripherals this year as well. 2009 is the year of the hero.
That's something I actually was researching myself. Now, the hero games, I think we were reading earlier this year that the Guitar Hero brand is now worth $1 billion.
Something ridiculous.
That's probably old news now.
Right.
But just this year alone, hang on, I've got a little list here. Of the hero games that have come out this year alone.
Yep.
Which includes...
Can I have a guess?
Yeah, have a go.
Okay. Guitar Hero World Tour?
Yep.
Rock Band Beatles?
No, we're going
Heroes. Okay. Guitar Hero World Tour, Guitar Hero Metallica.
Yep.
Guitar Hero Aerosmith.
Oh, wait, no, I think Aerosmith was last year.
Okay. Guitar Hero 80s, which wasn't released in Australia, but that was over in the States, I think.
No, Guitar Hero 80s was also last year.
Fuck. Okay. Guitar Hero 5.
Yes.
Band Hero.
Yep.
Lego Hero.
That was
Guitar
Lego
Hero?
Rock Band.
Lego.
But still.
Yeah, pretty good. DJ Hero.
Yep.
And I'm out.
Guitar Hero Van Halen actually comes out at the end of this year. So that's actually still to come out. I think it's actually probably like today or something.
And that is not including your Rock Band, so your Rock Band Beatles.
Yeah, now you said DJ Hero too, right?
DJ Hero, yes.
Yeah, so that's not including quite a few of the Rock Band brand as well.
Not to mention the shitload of downloadable content, so...
Yeah, as you said, it's been the year of the peripherals and the year of the rhythm games in general. I have to say I'm so over it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Guitar Hero World Tour I thought was a really nice release, and I will include Rock Band, Beatles, and Guitar Hero World Tour as two of the better games that came out this year.
Yep.
But I'm so over it. I mean, Van Halen, for Christ's sake? Van fucking Halen?
What?
Really?
Really?
They're not better bands.
Well, I would have said the same about Aerosmith, personally.
Yeah, me too. It's just like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel with
the band barrel.
The band barrel with old... And apparently in, like, Van Halen, Guitar Hero Van Halen, you don't even play as Van Halen at their prime, whenever the fuck that was. You play as them now. You play as them old.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not entertaining at all. What's the point?
I know, it's kind of weird. Imagine doing that with, like...
But you see, I have to disagree with you here, because...
Imagine doing that with Guitar Hero, like, the Rolling Stones. You just got them, like, doddering around
Fuck off,
stage.
man. Rolling Stones are timelessly awesome.
They do still move.
And not only do they
still know their
yeah,
shit.
Not only they are... The Rolling Stones are fossilized in time. Have you seen that Martin Scorsese one, the Shine a Little Light? It's the Rolling Stones, Martin Scorsese. I'm pretty sure it was Martin Scorsese.
Oh, is that a recent
Yes,
thing?
yes.
Yeah.
Like
I've
filmed
heard
at
of it.
some theatre or whatever. They fucking rocked.
Yeah,
they're
okay,
awesome.
Fair
Rolling
enough.
Stones are time.
See now,
Guitar Hero Rolling Stones? Fuck yeah.
Why not? Why Van Halen not the Rolling Stones? Now, were they cheap?
Van Halen?
Yeah, was
probably.
that? Because that's the only thing I can think of. I mean,
I can't imagine the Rolling Stones would have been cheap.
The Rolling Stones would not be cheap, but I can't imagine the Beatles were either, quite frankly.
Yeah,
and if you're going to go one company going logical opposite, Rolling Stones.
Beatles has a wide audience. I guess the Rolling Stones do as well, though.
The Rolling Stones and the Beatles were always parallel in
sure.
In their as contemporaries. They were always sort of side by side, and you generally liked one and didn't like the other.
Sure. So anyway, I mean, don't forget a lot of the other peripherals. By the way, I just did want to say, DJ Hero though, I was sick of rhythm games until DJ Hero came out.
Well, I
know you didn't really get into it, but I fucking love that game.
I've barely played DJ Hero. I've just heard enough of it to go, oh, for fuck's sake, would you people shut up?
There we go.
Quit your whining and pretending this is music. This is not music. This is an abomination before God and man.
And that's why this is where we disagree. And this is where we'd usually get into a heated debate.
But we're
it's
not,
Christmas.
Because it's Christmas.
So other things that happened this year, obviously the PSP Go came out. You know it didn't come out? It didn't come out again this year, but will never, ever come out ever again.
Because of the events of this year.
Duke Nukem Forever.
They should change it to Duke Nukem for never.
Oh, yeah.
How do you like that shit, guys? You don't even pay for this shit.
Fuck, that's a dad joke. If there, why isn't that in one of those bonbons, man? We need gaming bonbons.
Where did that come from?
Because you know how you get the bad jokes and the little things?
It's a little bit specific, don't you think?
What's the difference between Santa Claus and Tiger Woods?
I'm going to like this. What is it?
Santa Claus only stops at 3 hoes.
I was actually going to start last week's podcast with, by the way, I've heard all the rumours and I just want to dispel them. I have not been fucking Tiger Woods, all right? But I forgot. But I'll bring it up now anyway.
Some of the other big things that happened this year, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was released and broke everything.
Yeah,
sales records-wise.
Including its own multiplayer.
What?
It had a lot of glitches in its multiplayer, which meant you could do things like get unlimited ammo and stuff like that. They've just put out a patch, I think, yesterday to fix all that. So.
Well, I mean, look, the biggest thing is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 surpassed Grand Theft Auto 4 as the highest-selling entertainment thing of all time.
Indeed.
Which is just huge and massive and something that needs to be recognised on every level. And, of course, on the local front in Australia, the R18 rating's still struggling and not really changing or anything like that.
As we did say earlier, though, it's finally starting to get some recognition, though, which is interesting because as the discussion paper moves forward, maybe there's some progress on this that we can talk about next year.
Hopefully. Time will tell. I'll be interested to see what all the if the responses from the public to the you write the letter,
the discussion paper.
Paper. I'll be interested to see if there's any actual results from that. So moving.
Sorry. I wanted to mention that this is a really good point to do it at. There's a gentleman called David Williams. I'm pretty sure I've got your name right, Dave. Sorry. Listens to the podcast all the time. He sent us an email. I'm pretty sure you got it as well. Basically, just to say that he's been setting up stalls in Sydney and I think Adelaide as well.
Okay.
And he's basically got more than 50 people to send in forms and informed people. He's been setting them up in suburban shopping malls and stuff.
Yep.
To inform people and give them an opportunity to just sign the form, like just fill in the forms, and then he sends them in. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say, good on him. That's a really cool thing to be doing. It's really great. He's basically just trying to make sure that people who maybe were sitting on the fence and wouldn't have bothered printing out the thing and sending it in, don't have that excuse. And
cool.
I think that's really cool. So I'll try and put some more info on the forum,
that'd be good.
And if people can go and say hi wherever he is, or
anyone listening to this podcast has no excuse not to fill in these forms and submit them. You really need to
go to the website, print them out, send it.
I just want to quickly blast through.
Wait, sorry.
No,
quite a lot of our listeners are not in Australia.
Oh, well...
You have an excuse.
You don't have to. But you can. No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Okay.
Australians, anyway.
I just want to blast through, just to refresh your memory, some of the games that actually came out this year. New Super Mario Bros. on the Wii, House of the Dead Overkill, Modern Warfare 2, Halo ODST, Resident Evil 5, DJ Hero, Ghostbusters, the movie game, X-Men Wolverine...
Wait, sorry. Can I just go back for a second?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, the movie game... I haven't actually played this one, but I've watched my son play through it 3 times in a row.
Really?
Yeah. He basically finished a game on beginner, started another one on easy, then went to hard.
How old is he?
He's 10.
Okay.
And he's just decided that that's the best game he's ever played.
Cool.
Now, I've been watching him play, and I've watched through the game twice all the way through now, and I just have to say he's wrong. That game is shit. Continue.
Okay. X-Men, Wolverine, Velvet Assassin, Assassin's Creed 2, Professor Layton, Diabolical Box, Forza 3, Killzone 2, GTA, Chinatown.
Wait, wasn't it called Pandora's Box here?
I thought it was Diabolical.
It's got 2 different names.
Okay, could have been Pandora's Box. Killzone 2, Grand Theft Auto, Chinatown Wars. Unfortunately, extremely underwhelming sales internationally and nationally. Brutal Legend, Street Fighter 4, fuck yeah. Borderlands, Left 4 Dead 2, Dragon Age, Mad World, and The Sims 3. They're just a few of the...
Totally failed to mention Uncharted 2.
I'm getting to that.
Cool.
We're going to just briefly actually say, I think for the 2009 we are doing a big feature on Australian Gamer, but Matt and I just want to briefly mention our top 5 games for 2009.
Our personal ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with Uncharted 2, because one thing I will have to say.
Man, why'd you fuck that up? That's supposed to be like the last. Are we doing this in order?
We're doing 4. No, well, I'm actually a little bit out of order here anyway. But let's
go backwards.
Let's
okay?
wait for Uncharted.
What's your number 5 game?
Can I say something weird?
Of course you can.
The iPhone.
That's not that weird.
It's not a game either, though. Like, as far as top 5 games, it's not a game. But the iPhone has jumped from being a nothing significant in terms of as platform, a market to suddenly becoming a major gaming platform. And over the course of this year, and I think that's really interesting, especially as someone, and like I can list a bunch of games: Assassin's Creed 2, Borderlands, Batman: Arkham Asylum.
Yep.
These are games I didn't play.
Right.
Because I just didn't have time this year. I pretty much stopped playing WoW. I pretty much just didn't have time to play a lot of games. I don't think people realise the amount of time Yoga and I put into Australian Gamer, not just reviewing games, but
not to mention
management,
not to mention all the other stuff that we actually have, and we have full-time jobs, and I'm opening a fucking bar.
Yeah,
so
it can be hard to find the time to play games. And one thing that I've realised this year is just how little time I have and how suitable the iPhone is for the way I play games these days.
Yeah.
And I've probably played, logged more hours on the iPhone than I have on WoW this year.
That's pretty impressive.
So, stuff like Doodle Jump, and I've been playing, I just started playing, and I think other people will vouch for how good this is, but Civ Revolution on the iPhone.
Yeah?
It's just the Civ gameplay that you know and love, but it's a bit cartoonier and a bit sort of brighter in graphics.
You like it?
It's really good. It is
cool.
It is just as addictive. So
nice.
So yeah, that kind of thing I see as being a really, really solid platform for next year as well.
I should probably point out that these top 5, these are not like the top 5 best games of the year. These are our top 5,
and these are also the ones we played, and sometimes we miss a game or two.
Exactly. So I mean, okay. So you. How are we doing this? You fucked it up now. You said Doodle Jump.
So you do one.
Well, look, my bottom of the list, number 5, kind of split up between Street Fighter 4 and The Ballad of Gay Tony. 2 games that I loved for completely different reasons. I'm just a Grand Theft Auto whore, frankly, and I just like anything that gets put out by those guys. Best character of the year, Yusuf in that game as well. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And Street Fighter 4 just was perfection of a fighting game, just brilliant, and just they got everything right, the nostalgia factor, and updated the graphics, really stylized stuff, and just entertaining for everyone. And it's cool because you can bust that one out at any event, and it's either people are going to be like, oh yeah, Street Fighter, this is a new game that came out, and then everyone else is like, I remember playing Street Fighter, and they can still fucking play it because all the moves are the fucking same.
Yeah,
or at least half the moves are the same.
Yeah, they've all been kind of upgraded.
The point is that you don't get many button mashers playing Street Fighter because most people have at least a basic concept of some of the special moves.
Yeah.
Regardless of their game, they can pick it up. So that's my dual number 5.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
So do I get number 4 now?
Yeah. What's your number 4?
Sweet. I'm actually gonna. I'm just making this shit up. I don't even have this written down, but I'm gonna actually go with House of the Dead Overkill.
Yeah.
The game isn't great. It's just a rail shooter. The gameplay is nothing, but the cutscenes, the humor, the writing, the music, everything like that is exceptionally good.
Yep.
If you do have a Wii, and who doesn't, and you haven't played this one, you're actually missing out on a really solid game.
Yep.
So
that fucking hilarious.
Watch it with friends. Actually,
yes.
Don't just sit there and play it because you'll just.
It's a really good spectator game.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, my number 4 is actually DJ Hero.
Yeah, but
which is high on the list. I know what the fuck. I mean, sorry. You can disagree, Matt, but that's okay because we're friendly and everything because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
I will be the first one to admit that DJ Hero is not to everyone's taste at all.
No.
You will either love it or hate it. It's not really an in-between game.
Well, I don't by any means suggest this means anything about quality, but it has been a massive flop.
Really?
Yeah, the DJ Hero has not done well.
Right. I didn't realize that.
I'll get some more stats on that, but from something I was reading, it's cost them a bomb.
Bugger. Okay, well, because personally, I've enjoyed DJ Hero more than Guitar Hero this year.
Yeah.
I love the mechanics a lot more, and I like the mix-up music. Actually, I I just love everything about it, and I really got into it this year. It's really fun.
Fair enough.
So,
fair enough.
Anyway, number 3.
What have I got now? I'm going to actually... I think I kind of touched on this earlier, but Guitar Hero World Tour and Rock Band Beatles, I'm going to just give an equal place on that, because Guitar Hero... I think the Guitar Hero thing was getting a bit stale. Rock Band obviously upped the ante by adding extra...
peripherals,
extra instruments, and Rock Band and Guitar Hero World Tour upgraded that as well. I think that the other thing is Rock Band Beatles introduces it to a new level. Like, I really wish my dad had a console so that I could get him Rock Band Beatles, because I know that he would love it. It's
good because it's more... When playing Rock Band Beatles, it feels like it's more than just the Beatles music. There's so much more to that actual game that they offer.
It's a really loving tribute to the Beatles as well, and it's really sincere, and it's very well presented. One thing I will say, though, on Guitar Hero World Tour, the drums are, I think, just made of liquid testicles. They are balls. They are utterly shit. We've gone through 2 sets of drums.
I got a question for you. You've gone through 2 sets of drums. Is it because they all fucking fell, or it's just the orange cymbal?
No, it's not the orange cymbal.
Oh.
It was different things. One of them was the orange cymbal, the other was the red drum on the left, which is the most common drum.
Yep.
I got a call from someone today saying they bought a new one, and did I want their old one because it doesn't work anymore. Like, they just die, and a peripheral that costs that much fucking money has no right to die.
Yeah. Although you are bashing the shit out of it, so, you know.
You're bashing the shit out of it, but it's a drum. If it can't take being hit, then it's not built right.
It needs to be better.
And it is not built right.
Okay, fair enough.
That being said, the game is great, and aside from the issue with the peripherals, which I think is always going to be an issue with these kind of things.
Sure.
And I don't know if maybe the Guitar Hero 5 drum is improved, but the game isn't as good either. So.
Right. Okay.
So anyway.
Well, look, my number 3 is, talking about the iPhone side of things, a little game on the iPhone called Cannabolt.
Yeah.
Which is the most basic game ever. You don't even control the main character. You tap the screen to make him jump.
Mm-hmm.
And he's running, and it's a platformer game, so you're just jumping from buildings to buildings, and it's completely repetitive. All the graphics and the buildings and everything is just repeating. It's just randomly generated, and the goal is just to run as far as you can. And for some reason, I have played this game more than any other game this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And because it is the perfect game for short bursts.
Yeah.
It's the perfect game to, like, I'm just waiting in the queue for Subway or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can fucking get a good score on this sort of thing. And I'm quite proud of the fact that I actually hit over 25,000.
Okay, I don't have a frame rate.
Well, for anyone that's played the game...
I played the Flash version, but...
Well, same thing.
Well, I know that, but
exactly the same thing.
I didn't really
pay
attention to what the scores were.
Anyway, they've upgraded it recently and added a whole bunch of features like Twitter integration and a login system where you can actually update your scores to other people and compare them and all this kind of stuff, which is really cool. But yeah, I did look. It is the year that the iPhone's really blossomed in terms of being a gaming platform, and this one, especially for me, was just perfect.
I am going to do a really, really nasty cop-out here.
Yep.
For my second.
Right.
I'm going to say Borderlands, Assassin's Creed 2, Batman Arkham Asylum.
Right.
And I'm sure there was another one that was really popular. Okay, whichever one of whoever's listening, whichever one of those was your favourite, that's my second favourite as well.
Fucking cheap ass bitch. That's cheap. Well, look,
I know, but one of those, I'm sure all of those are good games, and especially Batman, I have to say, probably if I was taking my pick, because I've seen the other ones played, I've watched the Artsy play through them.
Yep.
Batman, I played the demo of as well, and I really was impressed by Batman.
Well, look, funny enough, my number 2 is Batman Arkham Asylum. Yeah. It's just fucking brilliant, atmospheric, really some really clever levels, especially the Scarecrow levels as well. It just got almost everything right, with the exception of the X-ray vision or the whatever that vision mode was, just being
Detective
a little
mode.
just being a little bit too powerful and just making things. You don't want to spend a game that's this visually rich and really interesting environments. You don't want to spend half the game in this X-ray mode, but you end up doing it anyway. But I think the
only
complaint.
thing they needed to do was make there be a downside to the X-ray mode. There needed to be a negative to counteract it in some way, and there just wasn't.
Or like limited time to use it, or you could only use it in certain...
Something to give you a reason to not use it, and there wasn't one.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, but it was still fun. The whole game was fun. It was an awesome experience, and just fantastic from start to end. And they're, of course, making a sequel now, which is great.
Modern Warfare 2 was the other one I needed to tack in there.
Yeah, I'm definitely not including that one.
Yeah?
Yep.
Interesting.
That's not included in my top 5 or top 10 or top anything this year.
Not that big a fan, hey?
No, and I was a huge fucking fan of Modern Warfare, the first one. I just thought that game just blew me off. Well, it blew me away.
I'm sure it blew you off. Well, if it blew you off, I'd include it in my top 10.
Hey! But Modern Warfare 2, it just felt too and keep in mind that I'm not the kind of person that gets into the multiplayer side huge. I'll dabble, I'll jump in, and I'm sure Modern Warfare 2 is fantastic, but it's the single player that I really give a shit about.
Yep.
And it didn't feel like Modern Warfare. It felt like James Bond.
Yeah,
and I did not like that.
I heard a lot of criticism of the single player, that the "oh no, your character has died" was apparently hideously overused.
Yeah.
And a lot of things felt forced, felt overly scripted.
Very
felt
forced. The scenes that are supposed to have emotional impact and work so well in the first game, in this one just felt like a game. They felt really cliched and just didn't have any emotional impact whatsoever, which was disappointing. But yeah, anyway, drum roll to the number one. And funny enough, both Matt and I agree because it's Christmas.
And we're friends.
On our number one games of the year.
Which is...
the previously unmentioned.
Yeah, because I wouldn't fuck it up that way by starting at 1.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Uncharted 2 on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, Uncharted 2 is for me, one of the best... Well, as I said, the best game that I played this year, because it's the first game I've played, I think, ever, that really gives the feeling of like watching a movie, of a cinematic experience, while simultaneously letting you be in control of that experience.
Yeah, most games when you say it's a cinematic experience, it's usually because it takes the control out of your hands. Yeah. Uncharted, you were completely in control. Even if sometimes it was to a limited extent, it was amazing the amount of control you had in these scenes that were really... I wish I could think of a different word than cinematic. Come on, you're the English grammar boy.
English grammar boy. Make it sound like I went to an English grammar school. No, it's a really epic feel. It's got an incredible scope. And what particularly stood out for me in this game is the writing and the humour. And it works. It actually genuinely works. And while there were a few moments that were kind of slightly predictable, they weren't incredibly over-predictable like, say, Avatar.
But give credit to the voice actors as well, and just that whole side, the whole polish of it. I mean, it was just so fluent. And at the time that I was playing Uncharted, I was also playing Brutal Legend, a game that I was really looking forward to because I'm a massive fan of Tim Schafer, and because his previous games have been fantastic dialogue and voice acting and really clever and witty and all this kind of stuff. And I didn't get any of that from Brutal Legend. I got it all from Uncharted. Really unexpected. Really surprising and hugely enjoyable. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching Good Game the other day, and they actually singled out the train chase scene in that as one of the great moments in gaming for the year, and I can't disagree with that. There were quite a few moments in that game to me that had this really great feel of drama and tension and excitement that you don't always get in games that, in a way, often feel like you're going from one corridor to another. But that's, I think, if anything, that's one thing that Uncharted never did. It never felt like you were just going through the motion corridor.
Sort of thing. Yeah, it didn't feel repetitive.
No, it didn't. And just all in all, an incredibly good game. Really solid, really fun.
So yeah, good work for all the PlayStation 3 owners out there. You know, your investment is finally paying off.
Yeah, and I do actually think that it's one of the few games that I've seen in quite a while that really makes you go, okay, the PlayStation 3 really does have something to offer that's not that it's above the PlayStation, the Xbox 360, but that at least sets it apart as a different product. Because I think, if anything, one thing that's happened this year is a really surprising congruity, I guess, might be a way to put it, where the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 have kind of grown together in a way. They're almost indistinguishable because there's not many exclusives on either.
A lot of the big games have been cross-motor games, and
the prices are pretty close now as well.
Yep.
Like the PS3 was a premium, and it's not anymore. It's a new model of the.
It's a lot more affordable.
Slim,
they're on very similar ground, sort of thing. So
what happens next year with those two will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, look, next week's podcast we'll actually talk about 2010.
Yeah.
And we're going to actually speculate wildly, which should be vastly less informative.
Yeah, hell yeah. But entertaining.
I did just want to briefly mention as well, while we're finalising the topic of 2009, Australian Gamer. 2009, year that was.
Yeah, we
haven't planned this particular topic either.
No, in fact, you said, should we do it? And I said no.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, sorry.
But apparently that doesn't matter now. I just said maybe we should take a bit of time and look over the site. And,
okay, maybe let's do that. Yeah, let's save that till next week.
No, we've started it now. So
all right.
What's been your highlight for the year?
Oh, fuck. Highlight. Probably the new site design that's not finalised or finished yet, but the potential and the direction that we're actually taking Australian Gamer, I actually really am a huge fan of. It's going to probably take still a bit more time before everyone really sees what we're trying to do with the new site, with the new design fully, but I really like the direction we're taking that makes us stand out even more in a certainly a marketplace where there's a lot more Aussie specific gaming sites that are starting up and getting more recognition and stuff like that. We've always sort of strived to stand out and be complementary as opposed to competitive to a lot of other gaming sites, and I think we're going to do that even more.
Yeah. Well, I think you've kind of said a lot of what we need to say. I mean, it's been a really busy year for us. We've been doing a lot of work on AG and on related side projects, and in some ways unrelated side projects.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there was the game damage stuff for us, which took up a huge amount of our time
and money,
fuckload of money too. People probably don't realise that, but it did. And of course we went to Gen Con and we went to E-Games, and for the first time ever we had an Australian Gamer representative over at the Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This year, which was very cool. And I just have to give the biggest shout out to the AG team, which in a year where Matt and I have dropped the ball quite often because we are so busy trying to actually, whether it be maintain or upgrade or do stuff to the Australian Gamer site behind the scenes, or things that you might not even notice, or if it's other projects that we're doing, the fact that we've got such a fantastic team to do the actual updates and content.
Yeah, well, I'd particularly like to single out, and I probably shouldn't be singling people out, but I'd particularly like to single out Jay.
Yeah, Jay.
For just stepping right the fuck up.
Yeah.
Anytime it's been needed, he handled the E-Games with
Jay handled E-Games, everything about E-Games pretty much. He headed up that side of things.
He even went to the point of sending out Christmas cards to all the publishers on our behalf.
He did.
He's just been a machine this year and has really stepped up and really helped us out. And while not in any way diminishing the contributions of other people who have also done really well, Starks, Cav, AJ, really, really good. But Jay's I've really been pleased with, and I'd also like to, just as a sort of short-term thing, point out the amount of news posts Luke has been making recently. Luke is one of our most recent joiners, but he's well on the way to getting himself a shiny gold star for awesome. Good time to say Happy Christmas to all of our team and
Merry Christmas, ho ho ho,
St. Yug. Did you hear they found Santa's body?
Fuck off. What?
St. Nicholas, apparently his remains were lost in the Middle Ages or something.
Yeah.
And they recently found his bones, his actual...
How do they know?
Well, apparently there's records that said that they were...
Did they dig up a coffin and he was wearing a red suit or something?
Wearing a red suit and just surrounded by
holding a Coca-Cola can? Or?
Yeah. I believe they were found in Ireland, and I mentioned that to Tali that they had been lost in that they had been lost and found in Ireland, and Talia, who is Irish, said if they were found in Ireland, that they were probably never lost. It's just that there's some Irish people going, oh, we don't know where that came from. So yeah, Santa's dead, everyone. I guess is the conclusion to that.
Well, this podcast will be up on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So we'll know if Santa's actually brought you gifts for under the tree and that. But do make some posts. Let us know what you actually got for Christmas.
Yeah, especially gaming related stuff, but also not gaming related stuff. I also want to, seeing as we're like doing the Christmas shout outs, and I suppose we might as well, because we've got heaps of time and we're not at all running over.
No, never.
On our half an hour podcast, it's now 55 minutes.
Hey, it's a Christmas special.
Christmas bumper special. I was going to say bumper.
Yeah!
Fuck yeah. Our Christmas bumper special here. I just wanted to say hello also to the fans and the readers and stuff, for one thing, because there would be no point doing any of this if it wasn't for you guys, but also to our community, to the people who have gotten involved in the website, in the forums, and the people who kind of care about Australian Gamer as both an entity and as a social network and as friends. And I think that's one of the great strengths Australian Gamer has really grown, particularly over the last year, is that social side, which is incredibly strong now.
And beyond. I mean, I remember years ago when we really started to try and make a push on the community side of things, and you and I were really involved in like any events and gatherings and things like that, and had made things to pull people together. But now we're hardly ever involved in that now. You guys just do it. Yeah,
we really had to push, to really get people together and so on. I went to a club the other day with a few of the AG crew, and we went to 299.
Yep.
And one of the guys that was there, Kineas, was saying, thanks for Australian Gamer, thanks for building this community and really giving me this social group and the friendship group and so on. And that was touching and that was nice. But I said to him, dude, you don't have to thank us. Because I looked around and everyone that was there was friends, like really good friends that I knew from Australian Gamer.
Yep.
Like even my girlfriend I met through building that community.
Yep.
To Australian Gamer, so it's been a gift to ourselves as much as it's been to you guys, without meaning to get all soppy.
A time-consuming gift.
And one of those gifts we probably should have kept a receipt for, but still.
But
yeah,
cool. Oh, so, that's lovely.
So anyway, Yug, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Matt.
Let's end this on a joyous note.
Really?
Well, we kind of are. We're all like lovey and huggy and stuff.
It just feels kind of wrong, to be honest.
I know, I feel like I should abuse you and call you a cunt.
Yeah, fuck you. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
And a bottle of rum.